About the WrestleMania main event everyone wants to talk about. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Wait, it's not WrestleMania, it's on Raw? Well, let's talk about the other WrestleMania main event that people want to talk about. The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Oh. Roman Reigns is going to fight CM Punk. And The Rock might not be on the show altogether. Really? Well, what about The Rock versus Cody Rhodes? Or The Rock versus Cody Rhodes in play? What about Gunther versus John Cena? Oh, this is not going to really happen. But what might happen is Goldberg versus Gunther, or Seth Rollins versus Gunther. That's a little real. And then CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. And lastly, John Cena versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So, depending on who you got, I feel like this card is like amalgamation of what would happen if The Rock wasn't going to show, but The Rock is going to be there. But The Rock does not want to face Roman Reigns. He wants to face Cody Rhodes or John Cena, or both Cody Rhodes and John Cena. It was a triple threat. All I can tell you is, hope for the best. Hope The Rock does show up. I hope he does fight Roman Reigns, because it's supposed to happen last year. It's a match that probably couldn't happen next year. If it does happen, maybe they do WrestleMania in Hawaii. And I'm serious, they have a stadium built in Hawaii. I don't know if there's a stadium currently, but just outdoors, some chairs, and bring all the Hawaii family, and have WrestleMania in Hawaii. That would be pretty fun. But anyway, I think they might already have it in Minnesota, but it's beneath the point. I think it might be in Indiana, but it's a long story. It could be in many places, but it's The Rock, and if it's really up to him, I say he fights Roman. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. I think they should have their third match at WrestleMania, because the first one doesn't have to end in a clean finish. Could be disqualification, could be no contest, could be a double count out, single count out. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be clean. Though Punk is likely to win, I think Rollins wins, because it wouldn't be their first matchup together. They had a match 2013 or so, I believe, and then so really 10 years in that, a month or so in the making. Basically, CM Punk won the first matchup when Seth Rollins was a member of the Shield. So I feel like Seth gets a victory just to say he tied him, and then they have a tiebreaker at WrestleMania, because there's going to be Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble. They both compete in the Royal Rumble, both compete in Elimination Chamber. I think the only matchup they wouldn't have had is a pay-per-view matchup, and I think Seth Rollins would win that one too. But the other option is they do have the third match at Elimination Chamber, whatever, the number one contenders match for the world title, whatever. Not in the chamber, but it's to face Gunther. Now, you would want Seth Rollins versus Gunther, or if you already had CM Punk face Gunther at the Rumble, or one of the two, if they're making it a number one contenders match on Raw, have the winner face Gunther, and then have Goldberg cost Gunther the match at Royal Rumble. That way, you could have a new world champion in either Seth Rollins or CM Punk. So the match would be for the world title, and it could main event. But I'd add Drew McIntyre. If I'm going to run the match, Drew McIntyre is just as much as a part of the feud as CM Punk and Seth Rollins have been with each other. So I have a triple threat: Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. But then again, alternative is John Cena versus Gunther. But if John Cena fights Cody Rhodes, and if Roman is able to fight The Rock, I think you get Roman versus Rock, Gunther versus Goldberg, which is debatable, Gunther versus, which I would rather have Gunther versus Chad Gable, just to have the match. And then, maybe Chad Gable wins the title from Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going deep. and they fight for the title from SmackDown. I know there's gonna be a draft or something like that, but anyway, like hopefully we get a good card, and yeah, I think the first Raw on Netflix. I'll talk about that when it shows up. But for John Cena, Cody Rhodes is a great matchup. I think what has to happen is John has to turn heel. You know, he has to be like Hulk Hogan. He has to be like 2002 Hulk Hogan, and then, you know, have a double turn. Maybe Cody Rhodes is The Rock from WrestleMania 18, which means we're gonna be cheering John Cena anyway. And then, I mean, this is all things they would never do. They never turn John Cena heel unless they would have to. So I really feel like you do keep him as a babyface, and maybe you turn Cody Rhodes heel. You know, maybe you work on both face, but you're gonna have to, during the match, you're gonna have to make it a play call. Even though you want Cody to go over, you know, because he's quote unquote the future, even though they're like 7-8 years apart. You know, I would have John Cena win the record-breaking title, breaking Ric Flair's streak, a record of 16, I believe, world titles, I believe. So I believe John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is like the new Rock versus Hogan, but have John Cena go over. It's only right. You buried him for like years. He hasn't gotten a pay-per-view victory, so it's only right John Cena wins at WrestleMania. All I'm telling you. Triple H, that's all I'm saying. The Rock, if he's involved, he might end up winning because he's the only guy who just can make the play call to say, I'm going to win. He's not going to eat the pin in any situation. So